Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. What happened was, and again, everyone's doing this. No one wants to be in this trial, of course. Blake Lively's publicist asked to be removed from lawsuit, defends actress against Justin Baldoni's claims. I'm going to get into what Justin Baldoni's lawyer had to say and what Blake's team is saying, because every day there's more to the drama, and I'm going to get into all of this happening next. So we have Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni of retaliating with his lawsuit on her. And then we have Justin Baldoni's lawyer saying Blake is abusing the system. To be quite honest, everyone I meet's Team Blake. I mean, other than Taylor Lorenz. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. I got that wrong. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. The Wayfair Party's vengeful and rambling lawsuit against Blake Lively is a profound abuse of the legal process that has no place in federal court. The law prohibits weaponizing defamation lawsuits like this one to retaliate against individuals who have filed legal claims or have publicly spoken out about harassment and retaliation. The right to seek legal redress and the right of the press to report on it are sacred principles that are protected by multiple privileges, including the litigation and fair report privileges, which are absolute. So their argument is, you're not allowed to sue us back because we filed this harassment suit. I mean, it's like punching someone and then they don't get a chance to return the blow. So here's what Justin Baldoni's attorney, power attorney Brian Friedman, is saying.
Blake Lively just had her worst nightmare come true when Justin Baldoni fans confronted her in public, cameras rolling, demanding answers about her treatment of the It Ends With Us director. The Hollywood Golden Girl was caught completely off guard, visibly shaken as fans called her out for manipulating the narrative against Baldoni.
Right, because she's arguing in her motion to dismiss,
The most shocking part? Blake actually apologized. Yes, the woman who spent months painting herself as the victim finally cracked under pressure when faced with real people demanding accountability. This wasn't some carefully crafted PR statement. This was raw, unfiltered, and exactly what Hollywood's newest villain didn't want captured on camera.
I filed a harassment complaint against Baldoni. He cannot sue me in retaliation. If Justin Baldoni can prove that she filed that claim for some malicious intent, then maybe he'll have a shot at it. But some people are saying, hey, she could get off on some sort of technicality here.
The confrontation came after months of Blake's reputation spiraling out of control. Once Hollywood's sweetheart, Blake has watched her carefully constructed image crumble faster than a house of cards.
Lots of women are calling bullshit on Blake Lively. Like, that's just what you see. And look, if you're Blake Lively and you get a text message of this guy Jed saying we are crushing it on Reddit, then yeah, I can understand that paranoia, but that's not enough to win a lawsuit, right? They're gonna have to provide that proof.
How about your post should be, I'm sorry. I believed Blake like everyone else when the civil complaint was filed in California, and then 2 days later, the New York Times writes this article. Read this New York Times thing I told everyone. It's horrible. It's terrible. Why doesn't anyone just say, I made a mistake? I think we live in a world, we're out of cancel culture now. I think. But we live in a world where if you say you're sorry, I just believe that...
The numbers don't lie. She's racked up a staggering 864,000 followers since this nightmare began. Fans who once worshipped the ground she walked on are now seeing through the act. The mask has slipped, and what's underneath isn't pretty. Blake thought she could manipulate the public the same way she allegedly manipulated everyone on set. But social media has receipts, and they're exposing her true colors with brutal efficiency. Every day brings new evidence contradicting her claims, and the public isn't buying her victim narrative anymore. Hollywood insiders are distancing themselves faster than rats from a sinking ship.
People forgive you and you'll be okay.
Justin Baldoni's attorney, power attorney Brian Friedman, is saying Blake is abusing the legal system, slams her motion to dismiss the suit. They're firing back at her attempt to cut herself out of the ongoing legal drama surrounding the film It Ends With Us. Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. Friedman says stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves, while noting laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda. TMZ broke the story that Blake filed her motion to dismiss, saying Baldoni violated the law by filing his own lawsuit in the purpose of revenge. Blake says Baldoni filed his defamation suit against her, her husband, and everyone else after she filed his. And of course, when she filed her...
It's an open secret now. Blake Lively has become the industry's biggest liability. Studios that once lined up to work with her are quietly backing away, refusing to touch projects with her name attached. Why? Because Hollywood runs on one thing: money. And right now, Blake Lively is bad for business.
Lawsuit onto him, obviously he's going to take a hit from that career-wise. So his response is like, you're defaming me by doing that. And she's saying, well, you can't even respond.
The industry might pretend to care about justice and truth, but their bottom line always comes first. When an A-lister becomes toxic to audiences, their days are numbered. Industry sources confirm that several of Blake's upcoming projects are being reevaluated. Hollywood code for "we're trying to figure out how to drop her without getting sued." The real shocker came when crew members started speaking out about what really happened on It Ends With Us. Blake wasn't just an actress or even just an executive producer. She reportedly acted like she owned the entire production, despite having no directing credentials. She forced dramatic script changes, overruled Baldoni, the actual director, and allegedly created a hostile work environment for anyone who challenged her vision. Multiple sources confirm she demanded scenes be reshot to feature her more prominently, slashed Baldoni's screen time, and turned what should have been a faithful adaptation into the Blake Lively show. The most disturbing part? No one dared speak up because they feared her industry connections with Ryan Reynolds could blacklist them from future work. Blake's legal strategy has completely backfired. What she thought would be a quick character assassination of Baldoni turned into her own professional execution. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, has systematically dismantled her case by releasing unedited text messages that directly contradict her claims. Legal experts are calling her lawsuit dangerously misleading after discovering she allegedly cherry-picked conversations, removed context, and strategically omitted exonerating evidence. Her legal team is scrambling as each new filing exposes more inconsistencies. Industry attorneys are now openly comparing this to the Depp Heard case. Except Blake doesn't have public sympathy on her side. Every legal move she makes digs her deeper into a hole of her own making. Ryan Reynolds' desperate attempts to salvage his wife's reputation have only poured gasoline on the fire. His tone-deaf joke about the situation during SNL's 50th anniversary special alongside Tina Fey and Amy Poehler fell completely flat. Viewers were stunned that Reynolds would make light of serious allegations, regardless of which side was telling the truth. The backlash was swift and brutal. Social media erupted, calling him insensitive and privileged for treating potential workplace harassment as a punchline. Reynolds' usually bulletproof charm couldn't save him this time. What's even more damaging is the whiplash between Blake crying victim one day and her husband joking about it the next. Their inconsistent messaging has destroyed what little credibility they had left. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni has emerged as the unlikely hero of this saga by simply staying above the fray. While Blake launches attack after attack, Baldoni has maintained dignified silence, letting the evidence speak for itself. He hasn't engaged in social media wars, hasn't given tell-all interviews, and hasn't stooped to petty tactics. This restraint has made him look infinitely more professional and trustworthy. The contrast couldn't be more stark. Blake frantically trying to control the narrative while Justin focuses on his work and family. Photos surfaced of him surfing in Hawaii with his kids while Blake was dealing with the fallout from her latest PR disaster. Hollywood respects strength under pressure, and Baldoni's stock is rising as Blake's plummets. The professional consequences for Blake are already materializing behind closed doors. Studio executives who wouldn't go on record are privately confirming that her name has become radioactive in pitch meetings. It's not worth the headache, one producer admitted. Projects that were fast-tracked with her attached are now being quietly shelved or recast. Blake's own damning admission that she would deceive directors during auditions, pretending to be just an actress before hijacking creative control once hired, has sealed her fate. No director wants to work with someone who's openly admitted to such manipulative tactics. Her upcoming roles are evaporating, and unlike previous career setbacks, this time there's no clear path to redemption. Even Blake's famous friends are creating distance. Taylor Swift, one of her closest celebrity allies, has been noticeably silent throughout the ordeal, a deafening absence for someone known to fiercely defend her friends. Industry events that once would have featured Blake and Ryan prominently have quietly rearranged their guest lists. The power couple that once dominated Hollywood's social scene is increasingly isolated as peers worry about guilt by association. Blake has effectively become the new Amber Heard, a comparison that would have been unthinkable just months ago. When celebrities do mention her, it's with careful neutrality rather than the gushing support they once offered. In Hollywood's brutal hierarchy, she's experiencing the fastest fall from grace since Kevin Spacey. The final nail in Blake's coffin came from her own mouth. In a resurfaced interview that couldn't have emerged at a worse time, Blake openly admitted to her manipulative tactics. Sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, "We just hired you to be an actor." Yet when I went in meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship. This devastating confession confirmed everything Baldoni's team had been claiming. She wasn't wrongfully excluded from creative decisions. She was deliberately hiding her intentions to take over productions through deception. As this interview spread across social media, even her most loyal defenders fell silent. The truth had finally emerged, and Blake Lively had no one to blame but herself. Justin Baldoni never needed to destroy her reputation. She did it herself with her own words and actions.